Hey everyone, how's it going? Solomon Christ here with another video for you. Thank you for coming on in. Listen, I am getting frustrated today. Oh my goodness, ChatGPT went down. That's right. Okay, it completely went down. And now I am sitting here saying, why am I doing this? Aren't I like a software developer and I can figure all this stuff out? All right. So, in this episode, we're going to figure out how to have a local AI of some kind on our server and connect up n8n to it. And then for the advanced, even more advanced stuff, we're going to try and set it up so that we also have, like unlimited access to whatever AI model that we want on our own machine and have our VPS version or virtual private server version of our n8n, which is on DigitalOcean, be able to access that here. So if you've got like a strong computer, like I've got a gaming PC here, I can actually use that, offline LLM. I can connect it online and be able to access that and use that power rather than having to go out to an API. And guess what? I don't just have to rely on just one model for OpenAI. I can go to Hugging Face and get every single model, anything that I want. And so in this video, we're going to learn how to do all of that and connect up from n8n on an actual local server, something small, maybe Olama, and some really tiny Olama or something like that, where it's like really really low in cost. I'm going to do it on a $12 server, okay? Seriously. And then from there, I'm going to make it so that from that same server, I'm going to access a much more powerful model on my gaming system, which is 64 gigs of RAM. It's got like a really cool gaming card on there and a graphics card, and it's got an NVIDIA and blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? It's powerful, okay? And I want to be able to access that from my n8n, remotely, online, from my n8n dashboard. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do all of that in this video, okay? And save you a whole bunch of fees on API calls. There we go. Let's dive in. All right, so in this video, we're going to be using Olama. Now, Olama gives us access to a lot of different models, and it's really, really powerful that way. So if I click on models here, and this is olama.com, you could see all the different models that we can actually use with this. All right, and there is a lot. All right, so we're just going to start off by setting up the tiny llama, right, just to start off. But then, you may want to upgrade to something like Phi, which will give us a better output. There's several others, and so there's different things that you want to try, but we're going to start off with Tiny Llama just to get it up and running. So if you can see this right now, here we are right now. I spent like $16 in credits, and literally it's running an automation where I was able to go through about 300-400 files. I've got 10,000 files I got to go through. This is not going to be cost effective at all. And I need to be able to reduce the cost. So especially if this is just like, 300 files and it's like $15, 10,000 files or, 30,000 files, that's going to be like $1,500. Yeah, not going to let that happen. So a better solution is to actually put an actual AI on our machine, or you can actually connect it online as well. And so we're going to use maybe one of the two services. I'm thinking either we're using Jan or we're going to use, there's another one called LM Studio. So we're going to use one or the other to kind of, make an API call to that on our local machine, and all the processing power is going to happen right here. All right, so here we are now inside of our, virtual machine here. This is on DigitalOcean. And our goal is, of course, we need to actually figure out how to add Olama. Now, if you haven't seen my previous video, we added another service for MySQL. So it's similar in that aspect where we're going to put this all into the actual YAML file for Docker. And that's where, a lot of stuff is going to happen. That's where our current n8n implementation is happening. So let's actually go in and, find our Docker install. So we're going to type in cd ... All right, and I'm just going to clear the screen just so that you can see this a little bit better. Let me zoom in a bit so you can kind of see this. Oh, that's a bit too big. All right, here we are. And so now we're going to go to cd opt, and that's going to take us to the opt folder. Cd n8n, that's our Docker caddy. That's where it is. The first thing is we need to create a swap file. This is going to make sure that our actual, server does not die out when it's trying to access the stuff here. So when memory goes a little too high, instead of actually saying, hey, I need more memory, it's actually going to go to the hard drive space to kind of access that memory. And so it's kind of, swap that out sort of thing. Now, before you do any of this, please, please, please back everything up. All right, back up your n8n workflows, back up your server. I repeat, this is a warning. If you've got actual stuff on there, like do this on a brand new install of n8n on a DigitalOcean server, that's okay. Or back your stuff up before you actually implement this. All right. I'm not going to be responsible if you go and screw things up because you're not backing things up. I can't help you. All right. I'm giving you the warning now. All right. So this is your warning. Back up everything. Okay. All right. So here's what we're going to do now. So to create the swap file, we're going to start off by saying sudo swap off / swap file. And that's going to just turn it off so that we're not using the actual swap. So we're just waiting. All right, there we go. And so now, if everything went well, we're going to basically delete that file temporarily as we create a new one. So we're going to do sudo rm-f / swap file. Okay, there we go. So now I've removed the swap file. Sudo dd if equals /dev /0, and I'm just gonna move this out of the way so you guys can see this here. Of equals / swap file. Bs equals 1m. Count equals 2048, which is 2 gigs. Status equals progress. All right, let's do that again. So this is going to manually create the actual 2 gig swap file there. As you can see, it's writing it there and it's showing us what it's doing at the same time. So now we're going to do a few more commands here. So we're going to do a chmod here. So sudo chmod 600 / swap file. All right. Then we're going to do sudo mkswap / swap file. And then we're going to do a sudo swap on. We're just turning the swap on / swap file. All right. And now we have to make it persistent so that, when you reboot the actual system, it's not going to, cause any trouble. So let's do an echo here and then / swap file. So we put dash / swap file. Let me just move my mouse. None swap sw 0 0 dash. And then we're going to put a pipe and we're going to say sudo ttee. And I'm just going to move this over here because I think you guys are having a little bit of trouble now seeing it. So let me actually just put this over here on one side, and I do apologize about that there. There we go. All right, so you guys can all see that there. All right, sudo t, there we go. All right, so it should make it a little bit easier for you guys there. Sudo t -a, and then /etc, and then /f stab. All right, so I'm going to hit enter, and there we go. So now it's actually, got a persistence, across reboots. And now we're going to see what it says here. So we're going to do a swap on, all right, and -- show. And it's going to show us, yep, we got a swap file now, 2 gigs, okay? And we're just going to free this here. So free -h, so free -h. There we go. All right, so we're good to go there. Now, we could actually go on to the next steps here. So we need to actually create a custom Docker file. Now, if you saw my n8n, previous tutorials, we already created one for, for n8n specifically. However, what we're going to do now is we're going to create another custom one for Olama. And so to do that, we're just going to create another directory just so that you can keep everything, in a different folder for that. So let's go ahead and type in mkdir Olama -custom. So that's going to be a custom Olama directory. And then we're just going to cd into it. So cd Olama, there it is. And now we're going to create a new Docker file. So let's type in nano, then Docker file. Okay, so this is going to be the Docker file for the Olama. So I'm inside of here now. At this point here, you're going to copy and paste in, this information. Now, so from Olama, you're going to install curl. Then afterwards, you're going to be running the Olama system to just get it all set up. And specifically, we're setting it up for Tiny Llama because, of course, our server is small. And then afterwards, we're going to be running it. All right, so go ahead and we're going to hit Control O to save that and then Control X to exit. All right, so now we're going to do a Docker Compose edit right now. And so we're going to go to Nano, and we're going to do Docker Compose or docker-compose.yml. All right, and here we are. And now we have to add the Olama stuff, okay? So as you can see, we got, the caddy, we got the n8n, we got MySQL all the way down here. All right, so if you didn't watch my MySQL video, please go ahead and watch that because you'll be able to add your own MySQL to your system, to your n8n, okay? So now we're going to add in Olama. All right, so we're going to space in twice. We're going to type in OLLAMA colon. All right, that gets us the beginning of Olama. Then we're going to hit enter, and we're going to space 4 times. And then we're going to type in image, colon, and then Olama. So OLLAMA /OLLAMA. Then we're going to hit enter again, and then 4 times again. We're going to type in container name. So container _name, colon, and then we're going to type in space Olama. All right, so OLLAMA. And then after that, we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to space several times, and then we've got a restart. So once again, if it restarts, we want to make sure that everything is good. So restart only unless it stops. So unless it stopped. All right, there we go. Unless stopped, hit enter, space again 4 times, and this time we're going to put in the port numbers. So ports, from the ports, what we're going to do is we're going to go down here, hit enter, 1 2 3 4 5 6. We're going to put a dash, and this time we're going to put a space, and we're going to type in colon 114342, or colon 11434, and then end in quotes for 4 spaces, and then we're going to type in volumes. So this is where we're going to save the data. So volumes, this is where we're going to actually access the Olama stuff, Olama data. Hit enter. Okay, space 4 times, 6 times on that one, and then dash, and then we're going to do a space, Olama, and underscore data. So there we go, colon, /root, /dot OLLAMA, so dot Olama. Next, we got to deploy it. So deploy is the next line, and then hit enter, and then go 6 spaces in, and then type in resources, colon, and then hit enter, and this time go 8 spaces in. 6, 7, 8. There we go. And then type in limits, and then colon, and then hit enter. And now 10 spaces in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you're going to type in memory, colon, and then 1.5 G. All right. So this basically limits the amount of RAM that we're going to use. So because we got a low RAM server, so it's about 2 gigs of RAM. We don't want to overload it. So we're kind of saying, okay, this is the maximum amount of memory you can use. All right. Perfect. So now we have to get our volumes in. All right. So we've got our volumes for caddy. We've got our n8n volumes. We've got our MySQL data volumes. So now we're going to add in Olama. So Olama underscore data and colon. So now at this point here, there's one more thing here. Actually, we can't use image because we've got that Docker file. If you remember, we created that a little bit earlier. So what we're going to do now is we're actually just going to go up here, and we're going to delete the image, and we're going to replace that with build colon, and then we're going to hit enter, and then we're going to do about 6 spaces in, and we're going to type in context colon, and then dot /Olama -custom. Okay, and that's actually going to get that Docker file that we created. That was a custom file. Okay, so now one other thing that we have to do in all of this is make sure that they can all talk to each other. So inside of this file, we're going to be adding in a set of networks. All right, so a network that's going to be amongst all of them, and we're going to bridge it all. So to do that, we're going to actually add in a command inside of our Docker here called networks. All right, colon, and this is right under the volumes here. Hit enter, and let's go a few lines in. We're going to type in shared underscore net. Okay, whatever it is, we can name it anything, but I'm going to call it shared net. Hit enter, and then space, 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 and then we're going to call this driver, and it's going to be a bridge. Okay, and now all we have to do is in every single service that we have to actually put that inside of there. So let's start off with our service at the top. Our first one is caddy. So under volumes, we're going to just put inside of here, networks, colon, hit enter, then space inside of there, starting from the T, and then dash shared underscore net. And then we're going to repeat that now for all these. So let's do that for n8n. All right, for n8n, hit enter, spaces here again. All right, networks, All right, hit enter, space in, dash shared underscore net. Let's do it again for the next one. Okay, MySQL and Olama. Let's do this here. So in the MySQL one, you're going to do networks dash shared underscore net. And then again, inside of the Olama build, we could do it before the deploy, but after the volumes. So there it is, networks shared underscore net, just like that. All right, so now let's save it. All these services should now be able to talk to each other. So Control O and then Control X, and then you're going to do CD space dot dot, and now Docker compose down, Docker compose up with the build. So Docker compose down, then Docker compose up dash D dash dash build. All right, so you can see Olama is now set up here. So I'm excited. So let's go now into our n8n and check it out. All right, so we're going to create a new workflow, and we'll just call it training local AI example. All right, and we're going to start off with a chat trigger here. So just chat trigger. There it is. And from here now, we're going to add in an AI agent. So AI agent. There we go. All right. So now we're going to change this down into define below. Okay, answer the user's text. And right now, of course, there's nothing there. So let's just open up the chat, just say hi, just to get some basic data here. It's going to come here and there's nothing in there yet. So I just want to click and drag this chat input and just, kind of put it there. All right. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a chat model. So click on the chat model here. And at the bottom here, you're going to see Olama. So go ahead and click on Olama. All right. And then at the top here, you're going to see select credential. We don't have anything yet. So let's go ahead and click on create new credential. All right. And what you're going to notice is over here, you're going to see that it's already got the correct port, but it's saying localhost. Like if I save this right now, it's not going to work because our actual host is actually Olama. So you're going to type inside of here, replace localhost with Olama. And now if I hit save, there we go. Connection tested successfully. So we are now connected. However, we need to make sure that we get the right model. So right now it's going to say, okay, I don't know this model. So simply just hover over this and change your thing to expression. And instead of Llama 3.2, we're going to use Tiny Llama. Okay, just like that. All right. Now you're going to get an error at first, but that's okay. It's going to ignore it anyways. All right. So let's go back over here. Let's hit save and let's type in hello. All right, there we go. And it's like, hello there. I'd be happy to help you out. Now, this here is running right on my server, and I got unlimited, usage of it. So I can use it as much as I want. All right, and now the next thing is we want to add some memory so that it actually remembers our chat. So just go ahead and click on memory and click on simple memory, and it'll just remember the 5 chat items there, and then hit save. And this is right on my server now. I don't have to worry about, losing credits. There you go. Hello there. Please feel free to ask any questions or provide feedback. It thinks its name is Solomon. This is hilarious. Some of the primary capabilities of Solomon include NLP. This is hilarious. It can analyze textual data, image recognition, sentiment analysis, data mining. All right. So as you saw, it was like really funny how it was doing all kinds of weird things. So what we want to do is we actually want to, at this point, edit this model a bit, right? And, change some of its inputs to get a better output and also make it a bit faster. All right, so what we're going to do now is we're going to double click here and we're going to click on add options. And this is where you actually get to play around with some of the stuff. So for example, I'll put a top P of 0.9. I'm going to put the sampling temperature over here. I'm going to put it to 0.2. I'm going to set a repetition penalty of 1.1. I'm going to put the max tokens to generate to 25. So then, it keeps it short and it'll be a lot faster. And if you want tighter control, you could change top K and stuff. So if I want to do top K, let's see here, top K, I'll put it at, let's say 40. Presence penalty, I'll put it at 0.1. And then using memory mapping. All right, so now let's test this out here and see how it responds with these tighter controls here. All right, I'm going to type in now who is Shakespeare. So it should have hopefully some of that data. Let's see what it says. If it's not been trained on it, it's going to hallucinate. So who is Shakespeare? In fact, Shakespeare is one of the most famous and influential writers in history. He wrote plays, poems, and so on. So, it does some basic stuff, right? So I could do something simple like, what is a computer mouse, right? So let's actually see what that is. And I mean, Tiny Llama will work, and this is great for actual, simple use cases. If you got some simple AI items that you need to do, you really need to describe it well. So I'm going to look for another model now. And you can go through these models here. You can kind of see what's available. There's a lot of different ones here. So QN has a smaller edition here, only 398 megabytes. This is 500 million parameters. So it's apparently smaller than Tiny Llama. So let's go ahead and use that one there. Okay, so right now at this point here, we're going to actually change the model. So as you saw in the last portion there, Tiny Llama just really was not cutting it. So we're going to now upgrade the model to a different model. So we're going to come back here and we're going to go to CD and our Olama custom section there. And let's actually go ahead and I'm going to expand the screen just a bit here. And what we're going to do is we're going to change this here to a different model. So let's go ahead and hit nano and we're going to do Docker file. Okay. Install the QN 2.5. I'll put that. And there we go. So once you've updated that Docker file for Olama, you want to come out here and you want to actually do a Docker compose down. All right, that's going to allow us to have access to these drives. Now to figure out what drives are available, you want to type in Docker volume ls. Okay, just like that. And it's going to show you all the different stuff. Specifically, we need to remove the Olama data because that's where Tiny Llama is right now. And so in order to do that, we have to kind of remove the Olama data. All right. Do not remove your other data though. All right. Specifically your n8n data. That's where all your flows are. All right. So what we're going to do now is the following. We're going to do Docker volume rm for remove. And then in this case here, it is going to be the n8n docker -caddy _olama data. All right. So I just copy that there. And then I can just paste that in here. All right, so now it's going to remove that. Okay, it's now done. It doesn't have that anymore. And if we need to actually get more data back, meaning like, we want to clear all the cache stuff, we're going to run a docker system prune -a. And then we're going to hit yes. There we go. We got 6 gigabytes back. Now we're going to do cd space ... And now we're going to do a docker compose up -d -- build. There we go. Hit enter. All right. So if everything went well, we've got the QN edition here. This is the 500 million parameter model. And this one here seems to be responding really, really well. So watch this. I'm just going to say hello. And it's fast. There it is, like 1.96 or 1.396 seconds. It says, hello, how can I assist you today? How many calories in sugar? All right, there we go. And, it's hopefully going to come back. Let's see how long it takes. 6 seconds, 7 seconds, 10 seconds. All right, there we go. Sugary foods and drinks typically contain about 10 to 35 calories per serving. All right, nice. So this is pretty, good. If I put a little bit of memory to it, it'll remember more things. All right, so I'll say, hi, my name is Solomon. All right. And so it should pick it up. Hello, my name is Solomon. How can I assist you today? So it's, it's got that there. What is my name? All right, let's see if it remembers what my name is. Your name is Solomon. Okay, perfect. So there you have it. This is actually, running pretty decent and fast. It's a great little model there. But now if I want to get into even more powerful models, and let's say, I just can't run it off of here. I want to run it off of somewhere else. So now in the next part of the video, we're going to learn how to use LM Studio to run even more powerful models from our own desktop computer. So if you've got a gaming computer, a gaming rig, and then still access it from our n8n on DigitalOcean. So that's going to be our next thing, and it's going to be exciting. So let's dive into that now. If I really want a larger model, well, I now have to upgrade my server to a higher server on DigitalOcean to get access to some higher models. Like if I want to do full Olama, or if I want to do, higher models, well, then, it costs more. But for a lot of us, for a lot of people who are, especially in the tech space, chances are you're using like a very powerful system that has a graphics card. Or you're going to be buying a system that is a gaming computer, and they go for around $2,000, $3,000 US approximately, if you want like a really good decent one. But I mean, you can actually get some used ones for as low as $500 that might have a graphics card on it, and it could probably do the job. The point is, we want to be able to run advanced models without running up a bill. And so in our next part, we're going to continue onwards, but this time we're going to set up the actual AI, system, the actual LLM, or the large language model, on our actual local machine, wherever we are, whether it's in an office space or at home. And then from there, we're going to open up the ports so that our online n8n, installation will be able to access that. And then all of that processing power is going to be happening. All the processing power at that point is going to be happening on the local machine. And that means that we can actually put in some very powerful models, DeepSeek, you name it. You can actually test out all these models. And so in our next part, that's what we're going to do. All right, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to go to lmstudio.ai inside of your browser and download LM Studio for Windows. Once you've done that and installed it, you're going to end up getting a window that looks like this. All right. Now, there's a lot of different models that you want to be able to, look for. On the left side, there's a little Discover button. So click on that. We're going to use, DeepSeek because that one's available. R1. There's the Llama edition. There's the Q1 edition. So I have this one here. So I'm going to be using that one there. So download whichever model you want, and then you can use it immediately to chat. So we're going to test this out here. Click on New Chat. I just type in hello, and there it is. So I know that it's up and running on my system. So that's great. I've got now a local offline AI. However, I want to use this in my n8n, system, which is on DigitalOcean. So how do I access this? All right. So now if I want to run this as a service, where I can access this from a web browser, what I need to do is first I need to just open up a command window here inside of my Windows. All right. And then I'm going to type in LMS server start. That's it. All right. So it comes, from LM Studio. So I just hit enter. And now I've got a server running on port 1234. So all I have to do now is go into a web browser, and I could just type in localhost 1234, just like that. So it is working on the local host here. Of course, it's saying unexpected endpoint. You want to come into the LM Studio API documents, and you can see all the different endpoints that are available. And I'm going to try and access it from my external server, which is going to be this guy right here. All right, so at this point here, right now, we've got, our actual LM Studio telling us what's available, and, everything is able to run right on our system. What we want to do now is I need to be able to access this on my DigitalOcean server here. I need to be able to at least connect to it some way, somehow. Well, LM Studio has the REST APIs as well as compatibility APIs. So if I actually do this here, /v1 models, so if I just take this here and I just go like that, and I just paste that in, I should get access to the same thing as if I was, using the OpenAI models. But now, I can actually see here, I've got all these different models that I could choose from and so on. So it's got that compatibility mode built in. All right. So we're going to be using the OpenAI node to actually access our system. But I still have one more challenge. And that is I need to be able to access my local machine from my n8n, which is in the cloud. It's a virtual private server, VPS. So I need to be able to access it somehow. Well, there's another tool. And that tool is called Cloudflare. And it is basically from Cloudflare, the company, Cloudflared with the D at the end is what we're going to be getting here. So the link is inside of the description below or inside of my school page. You can actually, choose whichever one you want. We're going to click and download the 64-bit edition here. All right. And what this is going to do is it's going to take our local machines, local host, and then make a URL out of it with an HTTPS, which allows us to easily connect to it. All right, so once you've downloaded Cloudflare, you're going to have it here. So just put it inside of like a directory that you can actually access it from. So in this case, I put it inside of the temp folder. So cd / here and cd temp. So first I'm going to do dir, and that's just going to tell me where this is. And now I'm going to type in Cloudflared. So Cloudflared, there it is, without the exe at the end. And I'm going to type in tunnel and then -- URL, and then it's http / localhost and then 1234, just like that. All right. And as you could see, this here is my new URL. It's a temporary URL. And this is great when I just need to test this out. So if I actually, try and click on this thing here, I'll just copy this here. So basically take it, copy it, and now I'm going to go inside of here. All right, and there we go. So I am now actually getting the LM Studio from my machine, but through this URL. So if I now do the actual endpoints here, so let's just get the models to see what models are available. It's picking this up from my computer externally. I can now access this just like I can anywhere else. So all I have to do is just take this part here with the V1, but this time I'm going to choose OpenAI chat model, okay? And specifically, I'm going to add brand new credentials by clicking on create new credential. And then from here, API key can be anything. I'm just going to put ASDF, whatever you want. Now, over here, that's it. I just replaced it with the V1 over here, just like that. So you could see before it was like that with the V1. I'm going to do that, and I don't need the / there. Hit save, and it's now connected to my system. All right. So now I'm just going to close this off here. Now, when I actually look at the list, it's choosing all the models that I have on my physical desktop here, and I'm accessing it from my n8n. So now I'm going to type in hello, and this time my computer should respond. So let's actually just clear this here. So it's getting it from my desktop. Hello, how can I assist you today? So imagine I now have access to any model that I want, which is inside of my LM Studio here. It's incredible. So watch this. I'll go into my LM Studio, and so I can download now any new model that I want from here. Okay, so let's try the Mistral one with 7 billion parameters here. Mistral is about 3.8 gigs, so I'll give that a shot there. All right, so here we go. Mistral is up. Let's test it. And yep, it looks good. All right, so now that I know Mistral is running here on my local machine, we should be able to check it out here. Drop down, and there's Mistral. All right, let's give this a shot. Let's clear this up. Let's type in hello. There we go. Hello, how can I help you today? And it's fast, right? It's super fast. And, I'm like, dude, this is incredible. So I don't have to worry about OpenAI right now. So I'm going to be like, okay, sum of 5 + 5 is 10. Like this is now literally 0.888 milliseconds. That's a lucky number too, by the way. But yeah, it's look at this, 46 tokens. It was super fast. So this is so powerful because now I don't have to pay for OpenAI ChatGPT anymore. Literally, I could just get all that I need from here, from my powerful system. I've got a 64 gig desktop system, and it's all running from here. And I can also access this, locally as well. So that's huge. All right. So this is something that you are going to definitely use, especially if you're growing your AI business. You do not want to be spending hundreds or thousands of dollars on, just API calls, when now you can set it up locally on your, DigitalOcean server, or locally from your machine and access it from a virtual private server as well. All right, there you have it. It took me 2 days to record this entire thing from beginning to end. But for you guys, it's a lot shorter, which is great. But now you got to see literally that you can set this up on your own local system, on your virtual private system on DigitalOcean. And so, you're saving yourself time, money, the amount of calls, especially if you're doing automations that take a lot of data, right? They're going to do a lot of calls. One of the clients that I'm working with right now, their amount of calls is not just a couple hundred. We're talking about tens of thousands potentially. And yeah, like I need a long-term solution. And this is it, where my actual cost is the server that I'm actually paying for, in this case here, DigitalOcean, or my own physical box inside of my office. So, I get a good, gaming PC, $2,500, $3,000. And now that's it. I'm set for, the next amount of time. Whereas others are paying, a lot of money. I don't have to worry about that. And on top of that, I actually made this video because I got frustrated with ChatGPT because it went down. And when you're running an AI business, you cannot have that happen. And just not being able to control that sucks. And so I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to figure out how to do this on my own. So you guys are lucky that I got really upset with ChatGPT. And now you guys also get the benefit of this video. Listen, if this video helped you out, please do join my school page. Come on out and, connect with other community members. Your support helps me to keep on going and creating more videos like this one. And on top of that, join the n8n community and everyone who's in the community. All right. n8n is growing every single day. It's an incredible, tool, and I use it every single day in my own business. And I know a lot of AI automation businesses out there, AI businesses out there are using it as well. If you want to learn, please come in and join our videos and continue to keep on learning, keep on trying, and don't just take, my advice only. There are so many other incredible creators who are creating, automations and tutorials all online, and not one size fits all. Everyone is doing it in different ways. I bring it more from a developer perspective as much as possible because I'm from the dev world. All right. Others are going to have different techniques and different ways they teach. So open up your mind, try out everything, learn different automations. That's what we're here to do, and become better and better and better, and touch and change lives around the world. I look forward to seeing you in another video. Take care. Bye-bye.